Today's October 9th, and um, I'm getting I'm getting some more information from UK spread betting, and there is a chart of a personal journey that that depicts the journey that people take as far as the funds are concerned, and uh, and and based on that curve, I do fit into a particular category where I'm at a point where I'm thinking, there's got to be something better to do than go trade in this manner, where resiliency in me is being tested every moment. So now I'm at a point where I'm not making any headway at all. Uh, Uh, I'm at this point though, I'm not like aggressively putting money in because I don't have any money, right? So now I'm attempting to figure out what I need to do in order to finally just transition into a position where I'm making a little bit of money. I'm just trying to do that. I'm attempting to do that, but there is a there's a there is a part of me that is constantly losing big money, and I know what I need to do, but I cannot do it. So I need to somehow solve it. So so then what I need in order to solve that, I feel like I have to redefine what trading is. Okay, after taking the veil, the dollar signs out of my face, right? Removing the dollar sign out of the picture, removing the dollar sign. That removing the dollar sign is the critical ingredient, it seems to me, now that it's taken away, right? So now I have to make this work. I have to figure out how to make this work. So it begs to ask a question of trades are made based on entry and size and exit. So what gets me into the trade? What allows me to get into a trade? So there has to be so for my trading, I have one or two setups a day, one or two setups. There's two types of trades that I do. One of them I'm still working on, which is essentially a a I would say a breakout trade or a trend trade. That is the I would categorize that at this point, loosely speaking. That's one, which means that when a stock has significant news, either in a macro or micro news that's impacting that stock, when that happens, then and I see it during because the news has already occurred pre-market, which means that it has already moved. When it moved, then generally speaking, when a stock, in many of the cases, stocks move incrementally, stair steps, and then takes the elevator down, which means that pre-market it has taken a serious drop based on the news. Now it is possible there is a possibility that the stock will rebound and it just keep going up. That's essentially the market incorrectly determining that the news was significantly bad. And so what it will do is it'll compensate for the drawdown that occurs, and then it starts going up. Now, second, in most common cases, what happens is if the news is significant and the market tends to be red, that will cause. So it seems to have a combination of the indices as well, overall general macro information, compounded by the micro economics, micro news. So that was one case where if I look at AMD on a Friday, it essentially both of those news was bad. The jobs data was not was even though it met expectation, it was disappointing to the market. The second part is there was apparently an earnings warning that was given by AMD, and when that doubled up, it created a significant drawdown. So that causes, even after the market opens, so the volume of individuals who are participating in the pre-market was not completely vetted until the market opened, and then it performed trading after the open. So that's when I can if I can tie that trading to every scenario that I have, and then when I look at it, and I can take advantage of that, and I'll look into making. So that means that there is what gets me into the trade. So there has to be a correlation between the news and the behavior of the stock, right? What other criteria are there? So so what happens is, that means that the correlation between the indices, aside from trading that particular type of situation, what I can do is, when the market is behaving on a macro level, then the indice reflects what the individual stock is doing. So I can trade that as well. So it is possible that the market will tend to overreact to certain news conditions, whereupon a reversion trade can be made. Until then, it's purely based on trend, and the waveform is, as I've hinted at before, is predictable. Therefore, all I have to do is utilize those, and I have plenty of opportunity to trade at least 2 times, and I have plenty of stock that I can choose to take advantage of that particular situation. That means that I am able to trade at least 3 times within one day. That is a significant amount of exercises and practices that I can have with the limited amount of resources that I have. Once I have that, and I achieve, when I'm able to make those trades, then I can. So that is the reason why I would get in. Okay, that's the reason I would get into the stock. That's the reason why I would get into the stock, because of that reason only. Now, elaborating on, so that is one reason. There could be other reasons why I would get in. So there could be formations, set up signals that tells me, okay, I need to get in because of this particular setup is occurring. Such as reversals are really great to trade, but it's tricky to me. It's tricky because what I would do is I would get on the front side because I'm impatient, and I feel like there's emotion that comes about. I have to elaborate on this somehow, so I can figure out exactly what my emotions are doing, so I can anticipate what's going to happen, and then make the right trades. So those are the reasons for entry. That's the reasons for entry, and spinning off of that, I need to walk through the emotions that I have. I have to walk through the emotion. So once I'm in, my emotions are tied in. If it's going down, my emotions are controlled by the behavior of the stock. And if there's 3 or 4 stocks that I'm in and it's all moving against me, the only thing I can say to myself is, wow, unable to do anything, because all of them are moving slowly and slowly and slowly, and I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumb, not being able to do what I'm supposed to do. So what I need to do is just trade one stock. There are people who trade like 30 or 40 stocks at once, and it moves in all different manners. But that's something that is a highly competent individual who's able to do that, not me. I know this. I know that about myself. Now, the second part is going through the emotions now. When I get in and I'm looking at the emotion, if it doesn't move, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, it's not moving. So my mind wanders, and my mind is searching for something else to do. Either playing chess, using this iPhone here, and waiting for something to happen. As soon as I'm in, I'm like, my emotions are clocking. My emotions are building up. And when the stock goes down, so that means that I have to set up my stop loss so that If I'm incorrect, then just get me out of it, because it is possible when the market turns, and when I look at, so I have to make a correlation. I have to decide, is the Dow Jones essentially dropping significantly? If it's not, then there is a possibility that there is a dip and rip, and I can absorb the significant amount of drawdown. So I have to coordinate between the markets to see I have to coordinate what the Dow Jones is doing, and the Nasdaq is doing, and what the stock is doing, so that I can correlate. So when I get in early and there is a drawdown, I check to see if the Dow Jones is performing, if it belongs to the Dow Jones. So there is a possibility for me to recuperate from the loss that I have. The third part is when it gains, especially when I'm in a put trade, my concern is that it's going to shoot back up and then erase all the gains that I have. And in many of the cases, as a primary method of trading, which is reversion trading, the fear is real and very, very effective of whatever I made being erased. And that happened quite a bit. And I have to understand, I have to make a connection between what the Dow is doing, what is the Nasdaq doing, and compared to how it behaves, how it belongs to that indices. So I have to make these connections, correlation between these two information, and to make the decision on what to do. That tells me whether I should exit when the first red candle starts. Now, does that mean that I need to get out? Or it certainly does. The way that Boeing was trading on Friday, what it did was it set up a high, dropped down, and picked up, and then it started a red candle, and then started to drop. It picked up a little bit towards the end of the day, but that should have been an indicator for me to get out, so that I would have been happy. But there were other two trades that were interfering with the decisions that I had to make. This is the play-by-play, the emotions, and so what I need to do is, and on Friday, what I did was I got into IBM, and IBM initially, it just several things just was not trading very well. I intended to get into Amazon, and just clicked on the way that these things are set up is that the charts will have a different information versus the one that's here. And so when I click on it, it has a different value in it. Maybe I can link it between the main chart, and this chart, so that it tells me what's going on. So maybe I can do that. I can set it as a there we go. So now it's linked. So maybe if I save it, it'll come back and do the same thing. It'll have both information will be the same. So I know how to trade, and what I'm attempting to do is create is essentially a jagged S signal with a line going across favoring the bottom side. The bottom side is the point where I get out, such that the loss is based on the small stop loss, and the gains will be much bigger based on the way that I trade. And that will be the symbol of the company, the symbol of the day trading that I will be doing. So there seems to be based on Mark with UK spread betting, he's laid out the foundation of how people trade, the way that people will start accumulating money, and then the money will be lost, and then just drop, and then there will be a point where stagnation occurs, and then after the stagnation there will be a point where it's a dark place. There's an incredibly dark place where I'm thinking to myself, I'm seeing myself at 66 years old, and I'll still be down, and the only money that I have in my bank account is maybe a month or two of paycheck that I have, and my car is old and rattling, making noise, and the windows don't work, and the windshield is broken, and my future is completely shot, kind of thing, because I've been day trading, although my background is engineering, and by that time I would have forgotten everything about it, and nobody in this world would hire me. I thought about that today. That is the dark place. I believe that's what he was talking about. Because I'll be alone, and I'll be living in a room where the individuals that are around me are none of them are my families. I essentially I'm at a point where it's essentially a very, very dark place where if I were to pass away, I'd be laying in the street, and the only individuals who will call is 911, and then they'll carry somebody over, and then I'll be labeled as DO, what is it called? Um, John Doe, right? Jane Doe, John Doe. So they'll label me as John Doe number one. They'll look into my wallet and see who I am, but before then, they'll label me as John Doe. And will there be anybody who would claim my body? No. So I'm essentially I'm essentially at the at I'm looking at myself, and I'm saying to myself, to my chimp, the chimp that's inside me, listen, chimp, if you don't shape up, and you and I were probably laying in the gutter many years down the road, trying to figure out what happened, because the dishwashing job is not a future. It's just to put food in my table so that I can sustain myself. It affords me time so that I can day trade, and you, the chimp, is ruining everything. Yeah, you the chimp. If I need to blame anybody else, it's you, because the emotion that's there, you and I were to blame. Okay, I'm not. I as the logical one is unable to help you suppress yourself so that I can bring on the logical side. And I hope that I've reached the absolute bottom so that we can make progress from today forward.